What if I told you the next world war won't be fought on Earth? In 2025, the USA, China, and Elon Musk are secretly racing to dominate space. And it's not just about exploration anymore. It's about control, power, and survival. Satellites are being weaponized, scanning the stars, and Elon, he might already be ahead of both superpowers. This isn't science fiction. This is real. And today, I'll show you how close we are to a full-blown space war and who's winning. This is the truth about the 2025 space war. Part 1. To understand how we got here, we need to rewind. For decades, the US and China have battled for technological dominance. But in 2020, something shifted. Elon Musk launched over 4,000 Starlink satellites, and governments started paying attention. China began testing satellite-destroying weapons. The US Department of Defense formed a new branch, the Space Force. And Elon? He became the only civilian with the power to literally shut down a country's internet. From space, part to current scenario, it's 2025, and the sky above you is now a battlefield. The US has over 150 military satellites. China has launched stealth satellites that can dock, disable, or hijack enemy tech. And Elon Starlink? It's now being used in active war zones. Even more shocking, some of these satellites carry lasers, EMPs, and advanced surveillance AI. Elon Musk himself confirmed in a leaked interview that space will be the new internet, the new battlefield, and the new bank. Part 3. The secret strategies. Let's break down what each player is doing. USA, focusing on defense, missile detection, and high-controlled space drones. The Space Force has an official budget of over $30 billion. China, aggressive, launching anti-satellite missiles, stealth satellites, and reportedly experimenting with satellite swarm tech. Elon Musk, decentralizing space. His goal? A private space internet that no government controls. And that scares him. Insiders claim Elon already has a deal with multiple nations, and that his next-gen satellites are impossible to shoot down. Part for what's at stake. Why does this matter to you? Because whoever controls space controls Earth. Communication, banking, power grids, military systems, all run on satellites. If they go dark, so does your life. Imagine waking up and no internet, no GPS, no power, all because a silent war in space just kicked off. Part 5. The silent weapons of space. You've heard of guns, missiles, and nukes. But in space, the most dangerous weapons are invisible. Enter electromagnetic pulse EMP satellites. One blast from these, and entire cities go offline. No lights, no phones, no defense systems. But there's more. Some satellites now carry space jammers, tech that can shut down GPS signals for military jets, missiles, even your smartphone. And while you're thinking it sounds like sci-fi, China already tested a satellite that can hug and disable enemy satellites without even firing a shot.
These weapons don't make noise. They don't explode. They just erase you from the grid, silently. Part 6. AI commanders and autonomous space drones. What happens when you remove humans from war? The USA has already developed AI systems that can control satellites and even space drones with zero human input. Instant decisions. No hesitation. No emotion. China is training AI models to detect, track, and potentially destroy enemy satellites faster than any human operator. And Elon, he's embedding AI directly into Starlink satellites. Imagine 50,000 autonomous units orbiting Earth, communicating with each other, learning, adapting. The war of 2025 might not be decided by soldiers or presidents, but by lines of code and invisible algorithms. Part 7. The battle for the moon. While we argue about Earth, the real game might be happening on the moon. B-roll, moon-based CGI, rovers, launch plans. Both the USA and China have announced missions to build permanent lunar bases by 2030. But here's the catch: Elon Musk wants to beat them there. Not with a flag, but with infrastructure. Why? Because the moon holds helium-3, a rare resource that could power the Earth for centuries. Whoever controls the moon controls the next energy revolution. It's not just a space race anymore. It's a race for the next fuel, the next civilization, the next empire. Part 8. The private space army. When we think of war, we imagine soldiers in uniforms. But Elon Musk, he's building something entirely different, a private space army. SpaceX isn't just launching rockets. It's controlling thousands of satellites, developing autonomous drone ships, and testing AI defense systems. According to insiders, Starlink now has its own encrypted network, one even governments can't break into. This means Musk doesn't just have communication power. He has surveillance, control, and real-time intelligence, all from the skies. And while the USA and China are bound by politics and red tape, Elon can move faster than both. Part 9. Space colonization or space domination. They say space is the final frontier, but is it a frontier for peace or for power? Elon claims he wants to make life multiplanetary. China says it wants to create a peaceful space order, and the USA, it insists on space superiority. But the truth is, colonization often starts with domination. And the more tech we send into space, the more likely it is that the skies become the next battleground. Right now, there are over 10,000 active satellites orbiting Earth. Within 5 years, that number could triple. What happens when those satellites aren't just for data, but for war? Part 10. The unseen risks. We've talked about lasers, drones, and AI. But there's one more thing that nobody is prepared for: space debris warfare. If just one satellite is destroyed at high velocity, it creates thousands of deadly fragments, each capable of wiping out another satellite. This could trigger the Kessler syndrome, a chain reaction of destruction that blocks Earth's orbit forever. Space debris could trap us on Earth, kill global internet, shut down defense systems, and plunge humanity into digital darkness. And yes, we're just one conflict away from that nightmare. Part 11. Secret alliances and space espionage. While the world focuses on surface-level tensions, behind the scenes, secret alliances are being formed, not just between nations, but between billionaires and governments. Whispers in defense circles suggest that certain countries are quietly partnering with SpaceX to lease Starlink satellites for military use. Others claim China is offering its space tech to smaller nations in exchange for long-term loyalty. But the real shocker, there are now rumors of spy satellites disguised as civilian ones collecting data, eavesdropping on communications, even shadowing rival satellites. This isn't Cold War 2.0, it's Cold Spaces. Part 12. Cyberspace vs. Outer Space. You've heard of cyber warfare. But what happens when it combines with space warfare? Modern satellites are basically flying computers. If one gets hacked, an entire military operation could be compromised. In 2022, Russian hackers temporarily disabled a satellite internet system in Ukraine. In 2025, the stakes are even higher. Imagine a rogue nation, or even a skilled individual, hacking into Starlink or ChinaSat and turning satellites into weapons. The battlefield isn't just above us, it's inside servers, clouds, and lines of code. Part 1-3. The space arms race is speeding up. What used to take a decade to build now takes a month. Rocket launches used to be rare. Now they happen every week. SpaceX is launching new Starlink batches almost every other week. China is building a mega spaceport. Even India and Europe are accelerating their satellite networks. We are living in the fastest arms race in human history, but it's not tanks or guns. It's satellites, AI, and orbital dominance. And the faster it moves, the harder it is to control. Part 14. Who really controls space laws? Here's a question nobody has a straight answer to. Who makes the rules in space? The Outer Space Treaty was signed in 1967, back when no one imagined private rockets or AI-controlled satellites. It says no one can own the moon or militarize space. But guess what? That treaty never imagined a billionaire launching more satellites than all the world governments combined. There is no space police, no international enforcement, which means the most powerful player writes the rules. Part 15. The rise of space mercenaries. You've heard of private military contractors on Earth, but now they're going orbital. According to reports, some companies are training ex-military astronauts, engineers, and drone pilots not for exploration but for space combat support. These private operators may soon be guarding space assets, disabling enemy satellites, or carrying out cyberspace missions, and they don't answer to any government. This creates a terrifying new possibility: space missions carried out by paid mercenaries with no accountability, no laws, and no limits. Part 16. The War for Space Mining. What if we told you space isn't just about control? It's about trillions of dollars in resources. Cut to asteroid belt visuals, robotic arms mining rock, infographics showing precious metals. Asteroids in our solar system contain gold, platinum, and rare earth metals that could wipe out the resource shortage on Earth forever. Elon Musk, NASA, and China have all declared plans to begin asteroid mining, but the first one to stake a claim gets the prize. This could create space piracy, orbital territory battles, and even mining wars in deep space. And there's no real legal framework for who gets what. Part 17. The weaponization of low Earth orbit. We're filling low Earth orbit with satellites, but what happens when those satellites become weapons? Experts now say it's possible to mount directed energy weapons, kinetic kill systems, and even small nuke warheads on satellites, essentially creating orbital strike platforms. These platforms could strike anywhere on Earth in minutes, and there's almost no way to defend against them. It's the perfect silent threat, invisible to the public, but powerful enough to shift entire wars. Part 18. The space colonial era has begun. Just like the age of oceanic exploration led to colonies and empires, we are entering the age of space colonization. The USA, China, and SpaceX are all preparing for permanent settlements on the Moon and Mars. But here's the truth: whoever gets there first doesn't just explore, they own the infrastructure. And once colonies are built, those locations can serve as military bases, resource depots, and even launch points for deeper space dominance. This isn't about science fiction anymore. It's about who will own the future of humanity. Part 19. The Final Strike. Who fires first? The question no one wants to ask, but everyone is thinking: who will fire the first shot in the space war? Some say China might test a new anti-satellite weapon. Others believe the US could launch a preemptive strike if threatened. And Elon, he could trigger a whole new kind of conflict, not with missiles, but with mass disconnection. One single action, one destroyed satellite, one hacked network, one rogue AI could ignite the first full-scale space conflict in human history. And when that happens, it won't just change the sky, it will change the world.
This isn't science fiction. It's already happening. The space war of 2025 has begun, and most people don't even know it. If this video blew your mind, imagine what's coming next. The next episode will shock you, so hit that like button if you want the truth no one else is showing you. Drop a comment, who do you think will win this war? And subscribe right now, because the next video could be the one that gets banned. This isn't just a YouTube video, this is your warning.